Support for WYES is made possible by Mary Lou Kristovich in memory of her husband, William Kristovich.
Good evening, I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. And seated at our table tonight, Gwen Tompkins, host of the radio program Music Inside Out, airing twice weekly on WWNO Radio. Hi, welcome.
Hello, thanks for having me back.
Oh, glad to see ya. And Poppy Tooker, host of the radio program Louisiana Eats, also airing twice weekly on WWNO Radio.
It's Radio Day.
Hello, yes, absolutely. Actor John Spud McConnell here to talk about his one-man show, The Kingfish, 30 years, a 30-year anniversary return. Plus,
30.
he has his own show on
Yes.
WLAE. So great to see you, John.
Nice
Welcome
to
to
be
our
here.
table. And theater critic Alan Mason of theatercriticism.com.
Another
Hello.
radio man, Spud, as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we will also later have a performance by Moroccan-born guitarist Mahmoud Shouki. And first up, though, Poppy.
First, we have some sad news. We have to mark the passing this week of Martin H. Radasta, who was the eldest family member, last one from the third generation of the Pascal's Manali family. And Uncle Martin, as I knew him, was instrumental in helping me pull all the stories and all the photos together for the Pascal's Manali book that's coming out this fall. And so God bless Martin. I loved him so, and he's going to be greatly missed. Thank you for everything you did for me, Martin. Anyway, new news, new restaurant news. There is a place that really everybody needs to check out if you love Asian food. It's Lovey, L-U-V-I restaurant.
You're not kidding.
It's
L-U-V-I.
new. Okay, now I want you to look where it is, because Peggy,
Yeah.
20 years ago, we'd never think we'd dine on Chapatulas. That is the backside of Riverside Marketplace right there. And so it's right there on Chapatulas. There was a donut place there for a while. Well, this is Chef Hao Gong. He spent 10 years as Saki Cafe's chef. He's Shanghai born, and he named the restaurant for his two daughters, Lulu and Violet. And he wants to make sure everybody knows he's not serving sushi. He's not serving poke. Remember, I just taught everybody what that was. Actually, he's serving incredible food unlike anything we've ever seen in New Orleans. He has a raw bar where you get dishes like Snow White, a white fish ceviche with fried garlic, Rice Krispies, and a yuzu sauce. The stoplight, incredible. Raw yellowtail with jalapeno, cilantro, and habanero tobiki. Yum.
So colorful.
It's fabulous.
The chance is colorful.
The $1 million baby is diced spicy raw tuna seared with tuna and masago vinegar soy. And then there's small plates like malahala, which is spicy beef shank, cilantro, peanuts, and ghost chili oil. You know, who would think my favorite thing would be fried tofu? I loved the dark forest fried tofu with shiitake and wood ear mushrooms and lily flowers. There's Mama's dumplings. There's spicy dan dan noodles. Then there's medium-sized plates like Happy Buddha, pan-seared whitefish with shiitake, portobello mushrooms, and fried leeks. Are you hungry yet? How about the stolen treasure? Oh gosh, it was good. Baked salmon, truffle oil, and sweet soy reduction. Sides like a 5-scented edamame, never tasted anything like it, and smashed cucumbers, an amazing craft cocktail menu. Tuesday through Saturday lunch from 11 a.m. till it's fabulous. You've got to go. And so lunch Tuesday through Saturday, dinner Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9, and then on the weekends they're open till 10. And thanks to Sam Hanna for those gorgeous photographs. Sam does my photography for my cookbooks, and I adore him. So anyway, thank you, Sam. He gave me the heads up on this fabulous place. Now, coming up next Saturday, please join me at the 8th Annual Bugs and Brew for Drew Crawfish Cook-Off and Beer Festival. It's from 3 until 8. It's on Fulton Street. The tickets are just $60. It was named for football coach Drew Rodriguez, who battled cancer himself. There's a crawfish boiling competition, live music from Honey Island Swamp Band, and this year, 100% of the proceeds are going to our beloved Carl Schubert, owner of DTB and Baco Bar, who, of course, is fighting stage 4 incurable adenocarcinoma. And he's had rounds of chemo and surgery and radiation, clinical trials, and he's at the point where his options are very limited. With these mounting medical bills now, this money will really help him buy more time to try to beat these odds. So please join me and let's go. And then I'm giving you a heads up because these tickets are going to sell out. There's only 80 available. Pulp Facts, a citrus celebration dinner. It's part of the Historic New Orleans Collection's 2018's Culinary Symposium, Saturday, June 9th. It's Chef Jeremiah Towers going to cook for us in New Orleans. Jeremy Lee, chef from New York, and the Napoleon House beloved, our favorite, Chris Montero. Tickets are $100, 6 till 9, upstairs at the Napoleon House on Saturday, June 9th. Dinner, Jeremiah Towers. Are you going? I am.
How exciting. Well, you've survived Jazz Fest.
I have survived
Gwen.
Jazz Fest, it's true. And I'm kind of sad about it. I'm in the afterglow, as I guess the rest of the city is. And I'm still very much interested in seeing music. You know, we say we go see music down here and all. And the advice that I have actually is to actually go and see music in the sense that there are 2 beautiful photographic exhibits that are happening on either end of the Esplanade Avenue. So up over at the U.S. Mint, you know, the Louisiana State Museum, their jazz museum, they're featuring an exquisite selection of Herman Leonard photographs, which, I mean, these are sort of the photographs that everyone wants, you know, when they're thinking about jazz musicians, and that we all just see as pieces of art, actually. This was an exhibit that was scheduled to close this coming Tuesday, but it's been extended now to June 30th. So if you have a chance to go and see it, please do. These are photographs that were made after the big band era in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, when jazz became more intimate, and the photos reflect that. These are sort of very intimate, near and dear shots of wonderful musicians in these very quiet moments, many of them. So you'll see Louis Armstrong in 1960 in Paris, you know, or you'll see Frank Sinatra and Monte Carlo in 1958, or you'll see Dinah Washington in New York City in 1955, I believe it was. So you'll see all these like extraordinary shots, and they're black and white and silver. You know, and so they have this real feel to them that you are as close as you can possibly be to, to your heroes. And there's a shot, for instance, of Billie Holiday that's so close that you really feel like you could just caress her cheek. It's like that, you know. And Herman Leonard lived in New Orleans for a short time. He died in 2010, and many of his images were lost. His prints were lost during the
He
after
lived
the
here
flood.
for a while, right?
He did, yeah, and so he lost thousands of prints. He didn't lose the negatives, because those negatives were at the Ogden Museum of Southern Art, and they survived, but he lost a lot of prints, and then he moved on to Los Angeles.
And over at NOMA?
Oh yes, and then over at NOMA, on the other side of Esplanade, you've got a wonderful exhibit by Lee Friedlander. And Lee Friedlander, for many years, he was sort of a commercial photographer for many of the record companies, Atlantic Records and others. And so he has these extraordinary photographs in color on the first floor of NOMA, featuring, Aretha Franklin, some of my favorite shots of Aretha Franklin, Johnny Cash, Carl Perkins, and Ray Charles, Miles Davis, and so those are really great. But Lee Friedlander is also known as sort of a street photographer, street scenes. And so upstairs, there's an extraordinary amount of photographs of New Orleans. You know what I mean? Street scenes of New Orleans that sort of show, wonderful old traditional musicians, traditional jazz musicians, in situ, so to speak. So they're on the street, and there's a feel of like how music built New Orleans. you know what I mean, a city made of music.
And I know you wanted to kind of very quickly mention 2 music events coming up this week.
Yes, 2 events are happening that I really want you to know about. One is at the Sidebar NOLA Jazz Club. It's an up-and-coming club. It's on South White Street, and Johnny Vodakovich is playing there on Sunday night.
Okay,
and that's
you've
going to
got
be
Evan
fantastic.
Christopher coming up too
That's
next
right.
week, huh?
And then over at Snug Harbor on the same night, actually, Evan Christopher is going to begin his stand there on Sundays. It's like a 3 or 4 Sunday stand, actually, with his Tricentennial series. And boy, what a tone does Evan Christopher have. I mean, it's really just, it's just straight out of the sublime.
So the music continues,
The
right?
music does continue, yes.
Thank you so much, Gwen. And New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Eduardo Jimenez gave us the names of the Louisiana-owned thoroughbred horse and his 2 owners who won the Preakness and the Belmont. That was, of course, Risen Star, and he was owned by Louis Roussel III and Roddy Lamarck 30 years ago. Now, tonight's question. There are 2 sets of local brothers in which one brother has been active in politics and the other is a performer. Who are they? Email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prize is a year's subscription to Louisiana Life magazine, a dish towel with the message Lawn and Order from our friends at wearablevegetables.com, and a pair of free admission passes to either the Audubon Zoo, Aquarium of the Americas, or the Butterfly Garden and Insectarium. You can go to wyes.org for our online calendar to see our lineup of events, including a conversation with artist Jim Blanchard about his new exhibit. It's 3 p.m. Saturday, tomorrow at the Ogden Museum. You can also link to our WYES YouTube channel to see our program. Now, Spud, it's been 30 years since you've been doing
You believe
the
that?
Kingfish?
30 years.
You and Perry Martin.
We
of course,
met in
is your
1976.
director and
When I first
co-writer.
met him, one of the first things he said out of his mouth was, "You look like Huey Long," and I mean, it was, I guess it was prophetic because. Yeah, we started doing the play, and 30 years later, doing it again. We'll be doing it tomorrow at the JPAC Theater on Airline. And he's speaking with a fellow named Blom, who was talking about putting it on a 12 to 20 city tour. Maybe. We'll see. I'm old. You know, I don't know if I got the horses anymore to do it, but it's still a fascinating show. It's still always fresh for me. I always throw in little things that maybe just Perry and I noticed to keep it fresh, but it's a powerful piece, and I'm glad to be doing it
Now,
again.
I think we have a clip. We're going to show 1 minute, a clip, and the clip is titled Federal Election Committee. Do you want to set it up?
The Federal Election Committee basically, because it is a one-man show, he has conversations with imaginary people in front of him. But basically, he's telling a couple of feds who come and complain about the number of votes that he gets, pretty much where they can get off.
Let's take a look.
So your complaint, gentlemen, is that my opponent only got 9 votes in the whole of St. Bernard Parish. What's wrong with that? That's the same number of votes he always gets in that parish. Yes, sir, I can explain to you how I got more votes in that parish than the total population is. You see, the problem here is one of bureaucratic inefficiency. No, sir, bureaucratic inefficiency. You see, we got a lot of people living in houseboats back along the bayous and in the swamps, and your pussyfooting federal census takers can't find them to count because they're afraid of snakes and alligators and getting their feet wet. You federals just gonna have to do a better job counting if you want your figures to tally with my votes. Thank you.
Just a reminder that the Kingfish is this Saturday, tomorrow night at the Jefferson Performing Arts Center on Airline Drive. And John,
Tickets are $15 for students,
okay.
by the way.
Oh, okay,
So
good
that's
deal.
a great deal for a $15
But John,
person.
you've been doing movies. I know you do a lot of theater
Yeah,
work,
I'm
but
in
40 films. I looked it up.
Oh
I was
no,
shocked.
I'm more
40,
like
more than that?
closer to 75.
What?
Plus, I just shot on this Hulu series called The First with Sean Penn and I don't know. Mo and I just came back from Atlanta shooting on this
Beautiful Wife.
Mark Wahlberg movie, called Instant Family. So yeah, you know, just trying to keep busy, stay out of trouble.
Very good. And once again, your weekly show on WLA.
It's called the Spudcast, and it is an interview show. And yeah, we talk about a bunch of stuff. The next show that we have, I'm gonna have Ed Chervenak from UNO come on,
wow.
and we're going to
Okay.
talk about the possibility of a new constitutional convention.
Speaking of politics, right? So
Speaking
it's
of
Wednesdays.
politics.
It starts.
Wednesdays and Saturdays at 6 o'clock.
Okay, dear. Thank you. I'm so
Thank
glad
you.
you're on our show. And New Orleans serves, of course, as a muse for those who dedicate their lives to art, literature, and music. Moroccan-born guitarist and composer Mahmoud Mood Shouki is one of them. Anticipating a Snug Harbor performance, he came to our studio earlier today to visit and play for us. Mahmoud, you've been here for 7 months in New Orleans, your own self-imposed residency, having played all over the world, originally from Morocco. What have you learned from other musicians here?
Yeah, I've been here in New Orleans for 7 months, and it was amazing exchange music and collaborate with local musicians. My music, it's a mixture of influences of Spanish, North African, Middle Eastern, classical, but here in New Orleans, it was jazz also, and playing with such an amazing musicians and amazing human also.
Yeah,
it's
so
a friends now.
So that mix. Now, leaving New Orleans is going to be kind of tough, but on to Los Angeles, huh?
Yeah. So it's a new experience. I had a great experience in New Orleans, and food, music, jazz fest, Mardi Gras. It was really
It's
great
quite a
experience.
combination. Your
Yes.
timing was pretty good. So flamenco, all this mixture of music. What is your favorite?
I can't say it. So
I'm putting you on the spot, huh?
yeah, I am. Yes, I love all the music. It's why I travel and I learn from other musicians, and yeah, so I love all the music.
Very good. Now we'll be hearing Arabic Spirit, an original composition. Which you would be listening extra close for?
Yeah. So like I said, it's a mixture. My compositions, it's mixture of my influences. So we will in this composition we'll hear a little bit of flamenco, a little bit of Middle Eastern music. Let's travel together.
Mixing it in the pot like gumbo, right?
But I can say it's more than a travel and a journey, musical journey.
Musical journey.
Yes.
Well, wishing you the best. And now let's hear Arabic Spirit. Marvelous Band performing at Snug Harbor. That's Tuesday, May 22nd at 8 and 10 p.m. Go to snugjazz.com to purchase tickets. His albums are available on iTunes and Spotify, and his website is mahmoudchouki, CHOUKI.com. And now, Alan.
Well, once again, the Sydney and Walla Best Off Sculpture Garden is the place to be for the New Orleans Museum of Art, of course. For the 5th time, the NOLA Project is going to be having a presentation, and this is, again, a form of theatrical magic that they weave in the garden there. This time out, it's Alexander Dumas' Elder's The Three Musketeers, and it's again done by Peter McElligott. That's the fellow who brought us, of course, Don Quixote and the Adventures in Wonderland, the take on Alice in Wonderland a few years back. He's returning with this particular project, and it's wonderfully directed by Mark Routhier, who's a fantastic director. So Athos, Aramis, and Porthos are portrayed by James Bartell, William Bowling, and Alex Martinez-Wallace. And they're joined by Callie Russell. She's a gender bender D'Artagnan. Of course, D'Artagnan was originally a male. In this particular play, they basically have a woman who wants to join the all-boys club and defend France. Now, a great comic villain is, of course, Keith Clavery there as Roquefort, the henchman of Cardinal Richelieu. He's played, that's the heavy, of course, by the wonderful John Neisler, who enlists Sarah Carlton. Now, Sarah Carlton is a femme fatale known as Milady, and she's trying to convict the Queen, Lauren Millara, of treason against France. Also, really great shout-outs to Julie Dietz as Constance, Leslie Clavery, that's Keith's wife, of course, and Kiri Armstead as bumbling guards. But again, for sheer swashbuckling fun, and again, this is probably the tour de force for Alex Martinez-Wallace, because he does all of those choreography pieces with the swashbuckling, the swords fights, and what have you that goes on. So the fencing. Imaginative script, of course. It's really beautiful to be set outdoors. And again, I want to just tell everybody that this is a show that's going to be hard to beat. They've won, I think, 3 out of the last 5 years. They've won the award for the Big Easy Awards as a Best Original Script. So it is a great opportunity to bring the kids. A lot of fun and not a lot of bloodshed, as you might imagine.
Bring your own chair.
The nice thing about it is you can bring your chair, you'll sit back a little bit further, or you can bring a blanket and sit on the ground. So, great to see it. Again, now through May the 27th, and if there is a rain day, of course, that happens, they'll announce when it's going to be basically taken care of.
I love going to the theater like that, but it's like, man, give me the deep woods off, because it's like termite season.
So anyway, another big proven winner, though, is what's happening at the boards at Rivertown Theaters, and that's, of course, the show about Audrey, the man-eating plant in the rundown florist, Little Shop of Horrors. That's, of course, taking place set that is on Skid Row. It's directed by Gary Rucker, and it's really well done. Again, they do musicals so well to perfection there. Jefferson Turner, can I mention him again? Jefferson Turner, the wonderful musical director, is going to be, again, at the helm of the small band that provides the music there. This, of course, was the first musical that Alan Menken and Howard Ashman had, that they basically set themselves on the road towards success for all the Disney classics such as The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. Bob Murrell plays Seymour, the schlub with the scrub. Is that right? Or the shrub, I should say. The schlub with the shrub. He secretly longs for success, of course, and to win the ever-lovely beauty that's there. That's the heavenly body, not like the plant from outer space, but this is another kind of heavenly body, played by Cherry Bombshell, a burlesque performer who plays Audrey to perfection. I have to say that it was a delightful breath of fresh air to see Cherry Bombshell. And yes, somebody said, is that her real name? I said, yes, Mr. and Mrs. Bombshell would not have it any other way. So there are 3 backup singers in the show, Chiffon, Crystal, and Ronette, of course. The shout out to some of the singers from the 60s. Wonderful support by Earl Ciano Jr. as Mr. Mushnick, Bryce Slocum as a cast of characters, including, of course, a sadistic dentist in the first act. A big shout out to Audrey 2's voice, which is Brian Demon Williams, beautiful bass voice like you might imagine Levi Strauss did. Again, the puppeteer is Scott Sauber, who we all love, and again, top-notch choreography. I love this show. If you get a chance, Little Shop of Horrors is playing through May the 20th. And last but not least, I want to give a little bit of recognition to our 37th President of the United States. That's going to be played by Jason Kirkpatrick, who hails from Oklahoma, not Texas, but he will be playing Lyndon Baines Johnson, Texas's favorite son. Of course, this was the role that won a Tony Award for Bryan Cranston. You may remember him from Breaking Bad and, of course, from Malcolm in the Middle. again, a big role for Jason. We're looking forward to him. This will be the regional premiere and the Southern Rep production that's going to be at Marquette Hall on the Loyola campus. So
That
we'll
is
look for
such a good show. too.
I did not get to see it, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. It was one of those shows that got away from me.
Yeah, so good.
Short run.
Yeah, thank you, Alan.
I saw
And you did? You
Well,
got to see it?
no, but I saw Lawrence Luckenbill do a one-man show about Lyndon
Oh,
Mace Johnson.
wow.
The character is phenomenal, so this would
So
be a
much,
great show.
obviously, to talk about. Thank you. And now time for our picks. Gwen.
Well, Michelle Lake, the wonderful chanteuse and band leader, actually, of the Little Bighorns, she's leaving town. She's leaving New Orleans. She's moving away. She's moving to Ireland, of all places. And which, I mean, we
be
all
with
like
her love.
Ireland, but come on. But it was a big loss for New Orleans, and she only has 2 performances left in her usual duo act with Tom McDermott at Chicky-Wawa. So if you want to say goodbye to Michelle Lake, this is the week to do it. This is her penultimate performance on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Michelle Lake.
Chicky-Wawa?
At Chicky-Wawa with Tom McDermott.
Yay. All right, Poppy.
More crawfish tomorrow. I think this is the biggest crawfish boil. It's the annual Crawfish Mambo put on by the UNO alumni on the campus, 11 to 5. Tickets just $35 at the gate.
Spud, you said Mo's keeping busy. She's working on some
Mo
national
is
shows.
she's been doing a lot of voiceover, voice dialect coaching and such. So she's the dialect coach for Queen Sugar for all 3 seasons, and she's working on a movie called Troop Zero with Jim Gaffigan and Viola Davis and Allison Janney. So
Give her our
she's busy.
best. Okay. Alan.
I want to remind everybody, JPAS has several offerings next weekend. First off, for those of you who are interested in ballet, Alice in Wonderland is going to be at the Jefferson Performing Arts Center. That'll be May the 18th, 19th, and 20th. And for those of you on the West Bank, they have an offering over there on one day that's going to be May the 19th. This is going to be Murder on the High Seas if you want to catch a little bit of a murder mystery, and that'll be happening at the Theatre Ouigo.
And I'm going to go see Nonsense tonight. I'm looking forward to it.
Nonsense is going to be on the boards at the
DJ
BB
scene.
Stage Door Canteen,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to
Should
that
be
scene
fun.
myself.
And now my pick, City Park just unveiled a new historical musical train tour today. Tickets are just $20, and the train departs from the Carousel Gardens. It's every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 3 different times. Visit friendsofcitypark.com to learn more about that. But that's really going to be a lot of fun. And then you can visit the Piety Street Market tomorrow from 11 to 4 at the old Ironworks on Piety, just off Chartis. The market will also be showcasing wetlands-inspired artwork as part of this year's Wetlands Art Tour. Visit the website on your screen to find out about the tour schedule. Lastly, I just wanted to show you 2 pictures. Look at this, of the current wildflower meadow in City Park. Great for photos. And that is at the Roosevelt Mall and Marconi Boulevard, right there. And it's, I think, maybe once or twice a year they do that. They just put out wildflower seeds and look what comes up. But I have so many beautiful pictures just over the years from that. So kudos to City Park. Thanks so much to you all. And thank you for watching. Good night.